What's up guys, my name's Luke and welcome back to Motion and Design. So I saw this incredible render by Tesson Studios. They did this watch campaign and the first shot of it had the watch kind of getting revealed from like this liquid effect, and I thought it looked really cool and I kind of wanted to figure out how we could do that inside of Cinema4D. I think they did it in Houdini, I'm not too sure. It kind of gave me the Houdini sim vibe, but I could be wrong. I thought I would try to figure out how to do it inside of Cinema4D and I feel like I got really close to it. This is going to be a pretty fun tutorial. If you're interested in the project files, they'll be up on my Patreon. Let's get into it. So I'm teaming up with Meshy again to bring you this tutorial. We're going to be creating some geometry that we're going to be using to get this effect right. And what I wanted to do was I was looking for something that was kind of simple. I mean, with this type of effect, anything can work. You can literally use whatever you want. But what I wanted to do was I was like, maybe a set of headphones. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me make a really simple set of headphones. So this is what I got. I brought that into MeshyAi over here, and as simply as dragging and dropping an image over here, we can get this result. So what I did is I turned on this new ultra mode, which just refines it an extra few times over here. I mean, it kind of mentions that, does an extra layer to make it sharper and to just get some better detail in the geometry. And I'm also going to turn on this texture over here. In the past, I don't know if you saw some of my other tutorials, but yeah, once you generated the model, you would have to then go and retexture it. But right now we can just say texture, and we can texture based off of the image that is being uploaded over here. And then let's click generate. So this is what I got. It's a really simple pair of headphones, but for what I was trying to do, something simple was exactly what I needed. So I decided to not use the texture that I got from Meshy. I wanted to just change it and make it my own. So I didn't really do the texturing, but if you guys are wanting to texture, it's as simple as going to edit and then texture, but also you can just turn it on over here and then it just saves an extra few clicks over there. We can also remesh it just by clicking over here and remeshing, and then I think I remeshed it to, I think it was 100,000 polygons, and then I got this result over here, which I think worked out really well. So I mean, it's a bit of a high dense mesh, but it was the best that I could do to refine the details that we still get, like these little details over here. Once you guys are ready with your mesh from MeshyAi, exporting is as simple as just clicking the download button. And the nice thing is that if you guys are working in like Blender or one of these other programs, you can export directly to it and it'll just show up there. So that is really great. They don't have it for Cinema4D yet, but hopefully in the future they will. So I took the model and I went and retextured it to be kind of like how I wanted it to be, because I just wanted the model to be just some base geometry over there, and then I wanted to make it my own, and this is what I ended up coming out with. So right now I have my model over here. You guys can use whatever you want. You don't have to use a model. You can just use a text object or a basic primitive to follow along with this tutorial. But obviously it looks better if you have a cool model from MeshyAi. Sweet. So the first thing that I'm going to do with my model, so depending on what you're doing, you might need to remesh this again so that we have a lower poly version of it. So I'm going to grab my model over here. I'm going to put it into a remesher. I'm going to set it down to something quite low, like maybe 15. Cool. And now that that is remeshed, we have a nice low remesh. I'm going to say connect objects and delete, and then we can put this into a connect object. So you don't necessarily need to put this into a connect object. I just find for this effect, because it's a procedural effect, it's nice to have one thing over here, and then if you want to change the object that you're simulating, you can easily just swap out the headphones over here with something else. So yeah, that's the point of the connect. Let's just turn off world, so it's just pretty much a connect object. I'm going to grab now a plane. I'm going to set it to 300 by 300, and then the widths to about 200 by 200 segments. Right now we're going to leave it at 200, but just now we're going to turn it up even higher. The one issue with us remeshing this and having this inside over here is that it's still in the connect object, so it's still going to be referencing it. So a quick workaround that we can do is we can take the high poly one out of it here, and let's go and select rigging, constraint, and in the constraints we can select parent, and then in the parent tag let's select our connect object. Now with our connect, whenever we move it, it will move our high dense mesh over here, which is exactly what we want. So now with our plane selected, let's go and select a vertex map. So with our vertex map, let's drag and drop the connect object over here. I'm going to bring this down quite low, maybe something like 1, maybe 2. Yeah, I think that looks good for now. Let's go and add another vertex map. Let's drag in our connect object again, and this time we're going to leave it on surface, and we're going to increase this to something like that. Let's go and add a formula field. So to get these type of like ripples that I was looking for, I think the best thing that I could think of was a formula effect over here. But if we press play right now, we get this, and that does not look very good. It's not really what we're wanting, but we can select overlay over here. And now you can kind of see the general vibe of what we're going to get. To speed this up, I'm going to go and grab a random text object. I'm just going to make this like an A or something like that and make it smaller. You guys don't need to do this, but if you want to work a little bit faster, just so that we can get the base look right, and then we can go and change it. So I'm going to drag this out, and now we can hide our headphones, and now we have our mesh. And because we're using the connect object, it should still apply. So let's go over here. One issue you'll see now with the first vertex map that we chose is that nothing is showing up over here, and that's the reason for that is that if we click on surface, then it'll show up. It's the fact that it's not editable, so there's not really points that it's detecting. So let's go surface for this as well. Now if we press play, it will run in real time, and this looks a lot better. So I'm going to reduce this to 0.1 just to increase the contrast over there. I'm going to increase this to 720 so that it goes a bit faster, and with this one I'm going to do that so that it's a little bit, you can see that the difference between them is a bit harsher. Let's drop down the variables over here. I'm going to drop the time to 20 and the frequency to 2, and now you can see we have a pretty cool effect over here. So right now this is cool. The only issue with it is that it's a bit uniform with the way that's looking, and we can solve that by using a shader field. Let's go and add a shader field. Let's add noise to it. Let's make this like 250 and put a speed of like 0.5, just so that there's subtle movement. And now all we need to do is drag this below our formula field, and we get a kind of cool effect, but it's not really what we're looking for. We want to make sure that this effect is only happening in our formula field over here, and we can do that by just clicking on overlay. And now look at that, we get a nice organic looking motion over there. That's pretty much what we're going to be using for this ripple over here. So now let's go and actually deform the geometry. So with our plane selected, let's go and add a displacer. In the displacer tag, I'm going to set the height down to something like 2. In the shading, I'm going to set this to a color. So pretty much what I'm saying is I want it to be 2 centimeters everywhere. And now with the field, I can now drag in this vertex map, and it will tell it to only go in the vertex map. You'll see that once we drag in the vertex map, nothing changes. Although if we do remove it, you can see that it's getting rid of all of the displacement. And the reason for that is we need to go into our vertex tag and turn off this use deformed points. This took me so long to figure out. It's so dumb. Once you turn that off, then it works. And now look at that, we have our geometry deforming, and it looks really cool, and we're pretty much getting almost like real time. So let's go and add one more displacer. With this displacer, I'm going to do the same thing, set this to color, and in the field, I'm going to drag in our first vertex map that we did. And again, we need to turn off this use deform points, and then let's just decrease how intense it is. I just wanted a separate one over here so that it has like a little bit of a bulge where the object is showing up. I think this just makes it look a lot smoother over there. So it's a bit jagged. We can solve that easily by just like increasing our segments over here, and that looks a lot better. But say now that didn't work, or you don't want to add so many segments, a nice workaround that we can do is we can go and add another vertex map, drag in, I'm just gonna move all the way to the end, drag in our first one over here, select average, and then it'll just kind of blur it out a bit. Now we can use that vertex map. Make sure you turn off the deform points, and there it is, a lot smoother. We can do the same for this one, but I don't think it's going to be too necessary, because what we can do is we can just add on a RS object tag and add some tessellation. If you're following around in another render, I'm pretty sure tessellation is universal, but it's pretty much just a subdivision surface that we're going to be adding on. So that's it for the base effect over there of how we're going to go and get the ripples. Although one thing that you do want to keep in mind is that right now, if I press play, I can just move this along and it will follow it, but we want it to emerge from the water. So we can do that by animating our connect object. So I'm going to put our headphones back in here. I'm going to remove the text. Let me just put it out just in case I want to use it. And if we show our headphones over here, you can see what's happening. We're even getting some like nice ripples in the middle there. And I think that looks cool. Let's go and animate our headphones. Say now this is going to be our last frame. Let's go to our connect object, set some keyframes, go to our first frame, and let's just drop it down and also like rotate maybe a bit like that. Something like that. And right now, even though it's below the surface, we're still getting this issue of we're seeing all the ripples over here, and we don't want that. We want it to only really form once it reveals. And so we can do that with our connect object over here by just animating the radius. So let's go to frame 1. I'm going to set the radius to something like 2, maybe 1 over here. And then by the time it's like fully revealed, we want it to be something like that. And now as it emerges from the water, it pushes it aside and creates these really nice ripples over there. And that's exactly what we want. I think that's looking really good. Let's go and light this scene. So I'm going to first go and add a thicken onto our plane over here. I'm going to set it to 1 in the thickness, and I'm just going to leave it like that. Right now for this looks cool, but if we wanted like an angle that's a little bit further out, we would have to increase the size of our plane. Then the issue with that is that we're going to be wasting so many polygons. I mean, to be honest, right now we're wasting a lot of polygons. You could make this smaller, but then when it comes to framing, you're kind of limited with what you can do. So let's go and add another plane in the background. So I'm going to add a plane over here. I'm going to make this about 1,000 by 1,000. I'm going to give it 20 segments each. I'm then going to make this editable. Let's go into the top view, and then let's just select all of these segments within here. And let's see how that looks if we had to open up our render view. So the reason that we can see that is that this doesn't have a thicken. So let's go and add a thicken on here and set that to 1. Cool. So now that we have the thickness, another issue that you'll see is that we're still able to see the outline of the box over here. We can easily get rid of that by turning off the shell in each of these. And what that does is if we look at our plane over here from the side, you can see that there's a gap, but if I turn the shell back on, it closes this one. It closes the object, but now without the shell, it just has a top and a bottom. So we still get the thickness of it, but we don't get the section over here where we're able to see the difference between the two of them. And now we have a really high dense mesh in the middle and some nice lower mesh around it. Okay, I'm gonna grab a camera over here and let's go and make a frame. I'm gonna use an 18mm lens. I think something like that type of framing looks pretty good. And let's go and light the scene. So first off, I'm gonna go grab a dome light. Then we're gonna go redshift, materials, lights, and then dome, and then put that as the dome light. I'm gonna go into it. Let's add a ramp. I'm gonna connect this to the shader and then change the map source from texture to shader. Sweet. I'm just gonna bring up this dark value over here, and I wanted it to be a little bit blue. So I'm gonna go and add just a tiny bit of blue in there. So now we get this scene like this. I'm also going to go in here, I'm going to remove all the transmission from it, and then I'm just going to reduce all of these so that it's not as intense. We can keep the diffuse a little bit higher. Let's add a texture for the water over here. I'm going to go and add a new material. Let's make sure we apply it to both the thicken and the outer plane and the inner plane over here. Cool. With our matte selected, I'm going to select the middleness and put this to 0.5. So that we have a nice reflections over there. And then with transmission, I'm going to turn it all the way up. And this is where we're at. So I think the first issue I can see is that these ripples are a little bit too big. So I'm going to go into this displacer. This one, I'm going to set it down to 1.5. Okay, there we go. Must be, let's just use the normal one. I think that's looking a lot more natural. Let's go and add a light. I'm going to add an area light. And then in our light, I'm going to add a gradient gobo. So I just have this pre-made go over here, and I'm going to use that. Let's lock the camera. I'm going to select camera, use selected object, and then let's go and light this from behind. Yeah, I think something like that looks nice. Let's just reduce the intensity of this by quite a bit, and maybe increase the size to something like 400 so it spreads out more. And then let's just make this softer, maybe 8. I'm also going to make this just a slight tint of blue. I think that looks nice. Let's go and duplicate the light. I'm just going to turn both of these off so I can see what the other light's doing. And I want to add a light below it. Nice. I think that looks really nice. Let's turn on another light. I think that's just a bit too bright, maybe 5. Then let's turn back on our HDRI over here. And now you can see that we're seeing through the water over there. And I think that's looking really nice. I do think though that this is showing up a bit too much in the reflections. Yeah, let's do that. I think I like maybe just a tiny bit in the reflections so that we get a little bit more contrast over there. I'm now just going to go and add an HDRI. And then with the HDRI, I only want the HDRI to light the connect object over here. Actually, no, it's this one. And that's just a bit too intense. So let's go and reduce the strength of that and maybe just rotate it a bit. I think something like that is fine. Let's also just go and hide our connect. Why? I see why. That makes sense. Because I put this on the wrong thing. And that's looking pretty cool. Let's just go and add a LUT. So the LUT that I used for my one was this Canon DC5. And I'm just going to bring down the strength, something like that. And look at that. Now we have a really nice render. Let's go and add some depth of field. Let's go back into our camera and set this something like 2, just so it like blurs off a bit over here and a bit over there. And maybe just bring this down a bit. I think that framing works a bit better. The last thing that I want to show you guys is how to refine the edge of this bubble over here. So with our ripples, let's go to our Vertex Map over here. You can control the distance between these things by using our formula field. So for instance, you can add more by putting in more over here or less depending on what you're wanting to do. If these things are a bit too sharp, you can increase the contrast by putting this to like 5, and then you'll see the distance between them gets shorter. You can also decrease this to something like 0.5 or 0.2, and then all kind of blur them together. And just by changing these things, we're able to get a different result. I think with this though, you might need to increase the amount. This might just be too much. Yeah, and just like that, we get this really cool results, and you're able to completely control the way that this looks and the way that this acts. Okay, this is acting incorrectly. When I dragged it back in, I messed it up. But yeah, hopefully you guys didn't do that. You got it right the first time. I was just a bit silly with what I did. So that's the end of the tutorial. Thank you again for Meshy for sponsoring this tutorial. I really appreciate all the support, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.